Hey, okay. That's my intro. Here we go. So I was supposed to have a new video this March. Like I said, hey, in March, look forward to a new video. And it's not the end of March yet. It's not April, but I don't have the video up. And I had a lot of really cool ideas, and I'm working on them. I'm writing them, but I haven't done them. I got a little stressed out figuring out what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. Because like I'm very analog, very old school. I like doing things on the computer, obviously, but I like doing things on like cardboard and stuff, like with a Sharpie. So there was times in the video like I want to make new stuff, but I want to have a style that I like, something that I feel comfortable with, something that I'm like, this is me, and also isn't totally unwatchable. People like jump cuts, like they like when there's like the edits and the content. Like I don't like that. I don't like doing that. I really kind of pride myself in avoiding that. So there's just all this stuff in my head, and I'm trying to be comfortable with whatever I can do. Like I don't have a studio, I don't have a production team. Like it's me. It's all me. I do everything. So I guess I just talk about the three ideas. That one is called tops and bottoms. It's kind of like a top 10 list, but not like all top. It'd be also bottom. Like I could just talk about, ice cream flavors. Like, hey, and I could switch back and forth. Like here's one I love, and like here's one I hate. And I didn't like just landing and falling into like top 5, bottom 5, or 3, whatever it ends up being, and just like using numbers. And I started thinking there should be like tier rating. Like, well, it's tops, I should just like do like Kilimanjaro, Everest, like just keep going up the mountain. And bottoms, I can just keep going all the way down, like Death Valley, then Hell. I'm like, that's a cool idea. Then I thought about metals, like, oh, like platinum tier, gold and everything. And then there's slag metal. I'm like, but I like metal. I'm like, oh, I can't do it to metals. There's no bottom metal. All metals are amazing. I love metals, minerals, elements, things like that. But numbers felt boring. Doing mountains every time felt boring. I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to have to do a new one every time. So it was turning from one list, like if it's going to be a list about ice cream, it was also turning from a list about ice cream to this other thing. I'm like, I want to talk about metals if I'm doing metals, or mountains. I don't need to talk about those. But I'm like, okay, I'm putting more work into this than I probably need to, but I like to do work and stuff. So I mean, the quality of this video, it's literally on my cell phone in a car. I guess I'll be uploading it. I've already recorded this much. Why would I throw it out? But I thought about like using graphics. Like, is I going to have like the number 5? Is I going to have an image of, Mount Everest when it gets to the top? Or was I like to do it on paper. Like, I like drawing and doing that kind of stuff. I could do it digitally. A lot of people would probably do it digitally. But I like Mystery Science Theater, the robot puppet talk over the movie thing. And they had, inventor idea exchange. And they do these things with props and practically. Like, I want to do something like that where I make like a sign. Like, I make a thing like number, whatever. And so I was putting more thought and work into it that I never got to actually filming and then producing said videos. So that's one. And that's one that I wanted to do, again, without needing to do the editing. Like, kind of just, this is where I'm at. Like, I'm in my car. I'm in like the middle of nowhere in times. Like, I want to do these videos in the way that I actually live. I don't want to pretend I have a studio and I have lighting and stuff. I don't have that stuff. So it's about the content. It's about what I'm saying, and it's about me using my hands, using ink. That's what I'm about. So I wanted to reflect that even more, and I feel like it's all thematic. So the other video ideas, they're going to need editing. They're going to be kind of probably more traditional. I like the idea of breaking things down, like getting into things I like to talk about. There's movies, TV shows, etc., like Dragon Ball or even like Rugrats or something, where I could like really break it down. It's called Broken Down. I'd probably come up with a graphic for that. And it'd just be me talking about things. Kind of like this right now, but I think I'd need to show like clips and other parts of it, and that runs into issues too. But because YouTube they like to ding your account and kind of take the video from you a little bit, which I don't like to do. I don't like to lose stuff when it's like I'm the one talking about it. Like it's me. I could cut that stuff out, but people tend to like it better. So I'm like running into that kind of stuff. I'm like, I'll just go for it. Because another one I want to do is I don't have a name for it, but I think I'm going to probably stick to it, called Hauntingly Beautiful, where I would talk about things that aren't necessarily horror or they're not supposed to be spooky, but they had something in it that is spooky or horror. Like in Pokemon, there's a lot of stuff in there that is more horror related than there's ghost types and dark types, but most of it is cutesy fire, water, grass kind of stuff. But I think there's some interesting dynamics in that. It's like that's something I could talk about. It's like those things that drew us in, that was hauntingly beautiful, that we connected to, us people like us spooky people. Because I never really realized, I've always been a horror fan. I've always liked things like Mighty Max, and it's got horror heads and the Universal monsters, but I don't like a lot of modern horror. So I like things like Mewtwo. Mewtwo's cool. Like there was this burned down, dilapidated mansion that Mewtwo was in. Like that's kind of the stuff I want to talk about, and it's this little slice in a bigger thing that most people like maybe they don't pay attention to. So none of those are done. None of those are ready to go, which is frustrating. Mostly because it's just me. It's me sitting down, writing it all out, recording it all, editing it all together, and then putting it online, and feeling good about the final product. Because whichever one comes first, like that's going to be like the template moving forward for each new episode. Like I get more than like 100 people to watch these things. So this is not the March video. I should put this out in March, but this is not it. Hopefully it'd be nice if I got one of those done, but the idea was actually to get one of each of those done, to have 3 new videos, and then I could do one of those a month. Maybe if there's some more technical heavy, maybe like not as often. Tops and bottoms is when I felt like I could do a lot, but I'm like, even now I'm like, okay, that's becoming like, if I want to craft all these things, that's becoming more of a workload than I thought it would be. So that's where I'm at. But I wanted to fill people in because I know I mentioned it, and it's been a while since I've made a video. I think the last one I made probably was the Unsolved Mysteries one, and that's been like 3 months now. I want to be making videos more. I can do stuff like this. Sometimes you guys just want to hear me talk. I've been apprehensive to doing a podcast. A lot of you want me to do a podcast. I'm sitting thinking maybe I really should. I have a decent microphone set up now, and I could just sit and record myself talk about, things that are going on. I could do it every few days. It doesn't have to be long. Like this isn't going to be too long. But I don't really like stand-up comedy. I don't know if that's a big surprise to you. I don't like most comics. I don't like the way comedy's done, but I found a way to do it my way. I do not know a way to do a podcast that is subversive and full of anti-humor and meta in the same way that my stand-up comedy is. I think it would just be more honest. It would just be me talking like this. And maybe that's okay, because maybe I can talk about things like that. I can get into that. I can be really meta. I can, play into something for a while. I don't like people that play devil's advocate, but it's like I could do all these things, and I should probably just go for it. And if I just record and go talk about whatever events are going on, I don't want to talk about now. I don't want to date this video. But my podcast can be dated, and it can be, hey, this is what's going on, what's happening, and go. And I have some people that would jump on with me every now and then, but I can still be my thing and be like, this is my podcast. And then, hey, today I have a guest. And I think I'd be able to have these things there, and maybe people will respond to it, maybe they won't. I don't like it though. I want people to realize that, like, that's the reason I haven't been doing a podcast, is I don't listen to them, so I don't know what they're like. I don't know what people are looking for when they listen to them. I'm talking really fast right now. My Californian accent is really showing. I'm really sorry to everyone that's listening to me right now. Also realize I have not edited or cut in this entire video, so this has been me in a continuous monologue for almost 10 minutes. That's how good I am at this. This is why I don't do jump cuts. But anyway, I don't watch or listen to podcasts, so I'm like, what's the norm? What do people want out of them? And 2, I like performing. I like all of these other things I just talked about that I want to do for Tops and Bottoms. Podcast is much more limited. It is just your voice and it's just the things you're saying. It's like writing though, which I do. So I was starting to kind of talk myself out of this. I'm like, okay, I guess I don't need to listen to podcasts to make them. Like, I write. I'm like, I could do this. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. The thing that is really probably stopping me the most is I don't like to just kind of do things. I want to have kind of a push behind it. So if you want to have an audience with a podcast, I'm gonna have to really promote it and go, here's my podcast, everyone listen to my podcast. I already hate that I said it twice. I'm gonna have to be promoting it, plugging it, talking about it more and more, but I don't really care. So like that aspect of it, I might not do at all. So I might do a podcast and do it for a while and not promote it, period. That'll be my anti-podcast measure. You just have to find it. But that is a big part of entertainment and things like, so when I do these YouTube videos, that was a plan, is I want to have these be of a certain quality, of a certain sort of template. So when I start doing them, I can feel proud of them and go to communities that maybe, hey, I talk about Dragon Ball Z. And like, hey, if you like Dragon Ball Z, here's me talking about an aspect of it and those types of things. So I could promote it and get it out to people in those fan bases, etc. And maybe they'd appreciate it and then go, hey, I like this guy. I like Oliver and he's kind of funny. And then they'd be a fan of my humor as well. Or maybe they'd hate it, which still, that's fine. You can hate me. I'm not expecting everyone to like me. In fact, I'd almost be more surprised if everyone liked me, but everyone's not aware of me. But that's part of this, and so that's where I'm at. It's a lot of thoughts. It's a lot of to get out. I think I'm done kind of monologuing and going, but I hope we all take in what I said and give me feedback if you have some. I'll probably ignore it if it's not any good.